Alright, welcome back. And right now we have the panel with us. So we have Marco, our martial art expert, Vesster, our burnout expert, and also Damian, who is very, very knowledgeable in the productivity area. So before we actually start the panel, let's get them to actually introduce themselves. So Marco, please.
Hi, my name is Marco. I'm the IKMF Singapore director. So I teach Krav Maga. Today I'm going to talk more about how Krav Maga can benefit the kids.
And Vesster?
Hi, I'm Vesster. I'm the resilience guru. So today I'm going to talk about how we can use during our busy time, how can we train and rest our mental muscle to help improve and crush burnout. Yeah.
Thank you. And Damian?
Hello everyone, I'm Damian. I'm the mind architect. For me, I actually talk about power productivity because for me it has been a long journey since I started as someone who is struggling with a lot of overload, a lot of tasks to be done, and that is when I begin to realize there is this power of productivity that I actually use it to actually enhance the things that I've done. And also along the way, I have discovered, the secrets to how we can even, create wealth, health, and even relationship through productivity.
Thank you, Damian. So maybe starting with you, Marco, you actually head the International Krav Maga Federation. So can you tell us more on actually what is Krav Maga and how do you get started in Krav Maga?
Okay, I started martial art when I was a kid. I was active all the way from secondary school, JC, uni. The game changer comes in when I was in 2014, where I was working in the oil and gas industry for regional sales. I have to travel to countries like Indonesia, Myanmar, Papua New Guinea as well. That's when I feel that I wasn't mentally prepared. I don't feel safe even with years of martial art training. And of course, after I received Krav Maga training in 2014, then 2016 I became an instructor. And after that, I became the first IKMF Singapore instructor to be certified in coaching kids. Now, Krav Maga, how does it benefit me? Because it is practical, it is direct, and it is effective. And it's very simple to learn. And that's why I really love Krav Maga.
I see. So I understand you're well versed in other martial arts disciplines, as well as you have a Krav Maga program for kids. So may I know why is Krav Maga actually beneficial for kids at such a young age?
Like I said, actually, most martial arts do benefit kids in terms of mental resilience, character development as well, and also discipline and also respect. But one thing I would like to emphasize about Krav Maga is that it actually brings on principles of self-defense and also adopt a lot of defense tactics. One key principle is avoid danger. So for instance, I went to teach self-defense to secondary school kids. I told them that if one person come with a knife, so what do you do? So one of the kids told me that he would kick the knife away. The other kid told me that he would take a chair, and defend himself, but that's good enough. And the last one said that they will do a disarm. So surprisingly, none of them actually talk about running away. So in my understanding, I feel that right now, common sense is not so common sense, especially in Singapore, whereby we are very safe. And we need to really teach them, for Krav Maga, it is more about being common sense, street smart, and also find ways to de-escalate the situation. That is more holistic aspect of Krav Maga. It's not just the technique.
I see. But actually, Krav Maga is actually little in the Israeli forces. So actually, is it even safe for kids to actually practice it?
I think it's a very good question. Honestly, if you talk about, the truth is Krav Maga is a system developed by the military. And if, we are going to teach kids lethal attacks, I totally agree that it shouldn't be suitable. But of course, in the fourth principle of Krav Maga, we always emphasize on reasonable use of force. And it depends on the situation that you are in. Because if you are a law enforcement officer, the approach will be different from a civilian. Definitely, approach will be different from a military aspect. So in Krav Maga, the program for kids will be below 16. So any person with below 16 of age will be exposed to junior program, Krav Maga Kids and Kiddie program, which we will not teach them to strike on lethal areas, lethal attacks, and also what we are emphasizing more on is de-escalation, ways to push your assailant away, and also using verbal warnings as well. So we are trying to use other ways to actually solve the problem other than using techniques. So in short, Krav Maga is suitable for everyone.
I see. So, Vesster, you're actually a burnout expert. Would you say that Krav Maga is a form of exercise that can help you reduce burnout?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, when I was a student, I actually had Krav Maga lesson. So it's really a lot of practical thing then you start to learn. So, but I think after I started to work, I have lesser time. So I kind of stopped all this activity. So we need to kind of find out other alternative methods, how to train and rest your mind when you don't have energies or you are really drained, to recharge and retrain, rest your mind so that you are always on the ball and on the go.
I see. So actually, what made you so passionate about the topic of burnout to actually be an expert in it?
Personally, I have been in a situation where I've been working long hours and I really don't have the time for my personal thing, and then it leads to like you are always in the work hours and then you have no energy, or you have to forsake a lot of your hobbies, activity, and then you slowly start to get drained out in the sense where then the burnout start coming in. So that's why I'm like really passionate to want to share my experience and prevent people from how can we crush burnout, because burnout is actually kind of good in the sense where it kind of stress your mind to kind of exercise your mind like a gym, but it's a matter of what kind of techniques do you use to take a break and rest your mind, to recharge and rest, to regenerate your cells again. Yeah.
I see. So before we go into the techniques of burnout, maybe I can ask you, what are the symptoms of burnout? Because right now in our society, we're always, right, but we're always working past OT and everything. We keep doing work, and so we might actually be experiencing burnout without even realizing it. So what are some of the symptoms we can look out for to realize that, I'm actually experiencing burnout, I need some help?
The common symptoms of burnout is like having exhaustions, lack of motivations, you feel like you cannot do anything, and also one thing, the underrated thing I realized is getting really cranky really easily, and getting frustrated by really tiny things you previously don't really care, and then you suddenly get irritated by a lot of small things. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Bowen always irritates me though. So is it considered a burnout?
Probably not. Probably it's really case by case. You have to be aware of why you are in this situation. That you probably ask yourself, why do you get irritated by it? Is it something that trigger you, or probably for no reason? So
I see.
Okay. I think I'll reflect on that. Probably use a different technique. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, maybe like for example for myself, sometimes when it comes to work, I think whatever you mentioned early on, I kind of feel that sometimes I also get into that state. Yeah, maybe I'm also having burnout without realizing it. But is there anything that I can do, like to immediately kind of get away that tension and the burnout?
I think the first thing is having the awareness. So you need to be self-aware. Then you need to identify what's the root cause. And then if you need to seek help, then I strongly encourage to seek help, because I think a lot of people, they try to resolve things their own, especially in today's society where you only share the good, then anything like bad or more negative, you tend to keep it to yourself. So finding the support and sharing out is really important. And also probably some breathing therapy techniques helps too.
Wow, interesting. So I think for Damian, because you used to be a high flyer as well, right? Is there any experience of you experiencing burnout before?
Oh, definitely. In fact, actually just now what Vesster actually spoke about really, brings me back to the time when I actually think about myself, taking on so many things. And for the context of the listener, because I actually started late. When I finished my degree, I was really at the 30s. And I'm really struggling and to try to move up the corporate ladder. And knowing that I come in and join a public sector, knowing that I'm not a scholar, I have to even work really hard. And that actually puts me into a situation where I want to do more. But actually I really get to realize that doing more is not the solutions to everything. In fact, what we need to really think about, which my power productivity speaks about, is really coming from the mind, the power of mind, that needs to understand the root cause, and also because of our mind actually works in a very a very miraculous way, such that it creates habits in ourselves. So I think it's important to really understand, first of all, what is it that we want to achieve. It is the goal, in fact, the vision or the goal or the purpose that we want to achieve that actually sets us down to see how we work things out. So a lot of people actually think about productivity as to do more, to do it faster, and so on. But actually, that is the wrong starting point. And it's also the biggest misconception. So, excuse me. So this is where I really think that what is important is really, to understand the series of steps that you need to think about in order for you to actually take on productivity. And that steps, of course, I can share even more because of the power, P-O-W-E-R. Actually, everything stands for different concepts. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So I think I love the part where you mentioned that it doesn't mean that I do more, I am actually more productive. In fact, it might even be counterintuitive, right? It's rather about finding clarity and knowing what you're supposed to do, going in the correct direction. That actually helps to become more productive. And I think coming from Damian, right, because I was just looking at his, credential, he actually graduated from the University of Cambridge Judge Business School, and less than 15 years after graduating, he actually went up the leadership role from senior management to public agency to the title of a world-class designer, and right now a leading entrepreneur. Wow, that is a lot of things, right? So can you share with us, like within these 15 years, how has this productivity, the power framework actually helped you?
In fact, the Cambridge executive education is much later. I graduated from University of Melbourne, but upon graduation, which I say at the age 30, from age 30 to 40, within the 10 years, because I discovered the power of productivity, and that is when I am able to even handle external association and become 3 presidencies for 3 organizations, about 7 chair roles, 1 board membership, 1 board member role, and also several titles that I take on as awards and competition. So imagine how that actually expanded my capability, my capacity, and that was amazing. And because of what I have achieved, I began to actually teach a lot of young leaders. And those young leaders are also my mentees. And I have a lot of mentees around the world, some from Ivy League schools as well. And what is important is really, understanding that, what we want to achieve is not starting from the what, but from the why.
Oh, that's amazing. So maybe coming back to Marco as well, because I think we talk about productivity, and I think for Krav Maga, it's kind of martial art. And I think you mentioned about, martial art actually does help in terms of instilling discipline and confidence. Is there any case studies that you can actually share in terms of how martial art helps a student to become more confident and in a way also become more productive?
Martial art in general, okay, there needs to be a lot of discipline as well. So, when it comes to any martial art, traditional martial art, you have the belt system. So you definitely need to, for kids as well, so definitely you need to put your mind to it, you need to focus, you need to make the commitment to come for training regularly, you need to study, you need to practice for whatever your martial art is, be it your kata, your pomsen, and also your taolu, whatever. So it's actually a show of commitment, and also definitely it will help you to focus as well. Yeah, so I believe that's what
Wow, that's amazing. Right, so for, let's say, parents with kids or for ladies who want to actually learn about self-defense and all that, actually, where can they actually find out more and any resources for them?
Okay, so I actually have a Telegram group in which it will share, in fact, tonight I'm going to share the 11 principles of Krav Maga in the Telegram group. So if anyone who is keen to learn more about Krav Maga, they can follow that link and join the Telegram group.
All right, thanks a lot for that. And I think back to Vesster. So for our audience who potentially might be experiencing some burnout right now and they are looking for some self-care, to recover from a burnout, is there any tips and tricks for our audiences over here?
Yeah, so I think I'll be sharing my Telegram chat on how can we build resistance, how can we train resistance, and also how can we take a break and recharge and crush burnout more. Yeah.
So do you think by being more productive, it will also help with burnout in investor perspective?
Being productive do help, but one thing about burnout, one symptoms about burnout is that it will reduce your productivity. So I think by trying to resting your mental muscle and building this resilience to your mental muscle will help to recharge your cells and also train and give yourself a break, and then it will slowly start to regain your productivity.
Nice. So it goes back to about the why are we even doing this rather than just I need to do more, because the more you try to do, the more burnout it gets, and in fact you become less productive because that's actually the symptoms of a burnout, right? So I mean, back to Damian. So for all the audience over here who wants to be like you, to be able to take on so many hats and perform them so well, any tricks for them and tips for them?
Well, I believe the tricks is actually all in my Telegram as well. I am happy to share more from there. But what's important to note, because of the power which I review here, P stands for power of mind, O stands for the origin, that have to do with scientific method of knowing how to tune your brain to do things that you are not used to doing. Then, of course, W is the wisdom tools. You need tools to actually help you to work on it. And a lot of the tools are, besides physical to even mental. And then also the O. The O is the E. The E is the energy, because you can't actually have productivity without energy. And you need to also have a system and a routine to how to actually keep up your energy. And lastly, relationship. Now, a lot of productivity people talk about is all about ourselves. But we require the relationships from everyone, even your close one, your loved ones, and even relationships outside to actually know how to, create that productivity. So my power of productivity is not just for individual, but mainly for business owners or even aspiring leaders. And this is also how I'm also using that to grow my companies.
Wow, that is amazing. I think I'm going to join the Telegram channel. Once again, I think so, Gina, you can chat with them while I'm going to join the Telegram channel.
Yeah, so really, thank you once again, Marco, Vesster, and Damian for sharing with us. So now to the audience, I hope that all of you were actually paying attention to the panel discussion. So previously, all the questions for the giveaway were very simple and straightforward. So to make sure you're paying attention right now, you need to give me 3 answers. So we have 3 people here on the panel. Tell me what are the 3 specialties that they actually, what's their 3 specialties? So please write in the chat their 3 specialties, Marco, Vesster, and Damian in the chat below.
All right, and to make it even better, I think for this time round, we're going to increase the prices. All right, so I think just now we were giving either away the $50 or we are giving away the Robert Kiyosaki book. But this time round, Gina, shall we actually bring it up the level?
Sure.
So how do we want to give them?
Should we give them double the price?
Should we? Okay.
Should we?
All right, I think let's do it because we have got 5 people over here and you guys just came back from lunch, okay, and you're on time, so we just want to make sure that you guys actually reward yourself for that as well. So later on, we'll actually announce who is actually the winner, okay, for this particular segment. Wow, this is a little bit challenging. 3 answers in one single, panelist as well. All right, so guys, let me know, okay, what is the key learning lesson that you guys actually learned from our panelists and put it inside the chat as well. I think once again, we just want to thank Marco, Damian, and Vesster for sharing with us, the different diverse areas. But I think importantly, you realize that what they shared is very closely knitted to what we are doing right now. Again, important for us, right, when we need help, go and seek help. And I think for those of you who didn't know that productivity, doing more is more productive, that's the opposite. Doing more doesn't lead to more productive. I think today you all need to join Damian Telegram, okay, to find out exactly how this power framework can potentially help you. All right. And right next, okay, we are going to invite 2 very special persons. So, Gina, do you want to introduce these 2 special persons?
So the 2 special person will be the second most handsome person in the NLC conference, the
Yes.
second most beautiful person in the NLC conference, and they are none other than Lionel and Chloe, who will be the next set of MCs for the rest of the Next Level conference for day 1.
All right, so with that, let's invite our next set of MCs to come out and they will have more prizes to be given away.